Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Auntie Karen Beyond the Cards. This is going to be the first in a series that I am starting. And herein I am sharing from my own personal manifestation and spiritual toolkit in an effort to share what I have learned thus far in my path. I have a laundry list of things I want to cover. And the first one that we are going to talk about today has to do with the ultimate love connection. Okay, as promised. And let's talk about it. A lot of you know me from Enchanted Cottage 333. I read tarot there. And I talk a lot in those readings. Those of you who watch me for a while, you know this. I talk about the importance of building a relationship with yourself, your higher self specifically. I will tell you what I believe about, the way that this whole thing comes together of who you are at a soul level. My personal belief, this is what resonates with me. I believe that your soul and your higher self are basically, essentially, pretty much one and the same. I believe that the divine, source, spirit, the universe, however you want to look at it, okay, is, it's divine energy. I believe that, it broke apart and it done so over time. And as it did so, tiny, tiny little pieces of source energy became what is now known as my soul and your soul and everybody's soul. And so it is my personal belief that your soul is literally connected to the divine. It is pure divine energy. And so we talk about, the voice of your intuition and divine guidance. It is my personal belief that those two things are one and the same, and they come from the same place. And that is your higher self, your soul, right? So I believe that those things are all I believe that's how everything is connected. Okay. So that being said, as you know, if you've watched me for a while, either here and or on my tarot channel, I always talk about the importance of meditation. And here is why. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my refrigerator across the room. It has a magnet on it and it says, meditation is hanging out with your own soul. And the thing that I like about meditation is this. It is really being still with yourself. And it is communicating, okay, and listening to and developing a connection and a relationship with your higher self. So it's a very difficult thing for me to try to explain and to put into words how this comes into how my personal experience, but I will do my best. It's as though your higher self is separate from you, but yet it's not. And what you are doing during meditation is you are literally cultivating and building a connection with the higher self. And why this becomes important in your day-to-day life as we go through our lives and we're faced with various situations in this human existence that we spiritual beings are currently experiencing is, okay, being able to instantly recognize the voice of your intuition is so helpful in guiding you throughout the day, okay? Interacting with the store clerk, making a decision, making a purchasing decision at the grocery store. I mean, you'd be surprised how much intuitive guidance is available to each and every one of us. We are all intuitive. It's just this. You've got so many aspects of who you are, okay? You have your higher self. You have your ego, which is needed to go through this 3D existence. That's my belief. That's why I'm personally not about death of the ego. I am about keeping it managed and under control and balanced, okay? We also have the shadow self, which, I talk about a lot, but I'm not going to get into that part in this particular video. We will dig into that more later. But for purposes of this video, it's important to understand that, you know, we have multiple aspects of who we are, and we probably have more. This is just what I can think of to talk to you about in this particular video. But that being said, the importance, you know, the time that we spend in meditation and being quiet, we listen to our higher self, and we start to learn our higher self, okay? And we become friends with our higher self, okay? And what we just like when you start a friendship with another person over time, and it takes time to learn a person and to grow close. But over time, you will begin to know this person. And, you know, you can recognize people by their face, right? You can recognize people's voice on the telephone when you talk to them on the telephone. Okay, and of course now I know we have caller ID, but back in the day, back in my early days, we didn't have that, okay? But you could pick up the phone and somebody would say, hey, and you know, if it was somebody that you knew pretty well, you knew instantly who you were hearing from. That's the best way that I know how to describe how it feels for me when the voice of my intuition tells me something. And, you know, so many interesting things with me recently have occurred as I have gone further down this path of developing this relationship with my higher self. You know, the first I talk about a lot on my channel, I have learned, I know the voice of my intuition. Before I really got into meditating every day, it was cloudy, and I would find myself arguing with my intuition, and I didn't know which was which, you know, and there are clues for me, you know, as I'm going about my day or I'm trying to make decisions, the very first thing that hits my mind is my intuition. The thing that comes along and second guesses that first thing is my ego. I can't say that's how it works for everyone, but I would venture to say that probably is the case for a lot of us. I would love to hear from you in the comments if this is similar to your own experience, particularly those of you who have, you know, an established meditation routine. So meditation, okay, I get it. It's hard. I am a double Gemini with ADHD. If ever you heard from a person that, you know, it is a challenge and it requires discipline, you are hearing from that person now. There are times I can only quiet my mind for maybe 60 seconds, okay, during the day. But it's imperative that I set aside some time. And you don't have to be a guru. Don't think that you have to set aside, you know, some inordinate amount of time. Do what you can. Any step forward, no matter how small, is progress. If you can only meditate for 60 seconds for a while, then do it. Just start somewhere. Just take the step. It's, you know, there are meditation videos here on YouTube all over the place. I personally like the ones for meditation that play music or, you know, sounds that are designed for putting you in the theta state, Theta. And the reason is because that takes you down to one level above sleep where you are dealing with your subconscious beliefs. Very powerful in raising your vibration. That is also a place where you can relax your mind and still your mind much easier to hear the voice of your intuition, okay? And for your intuition to really work on your subconscious beliefs, which is also your shadow self, okay? So you accomplish so much by doing that. There are guided meditations and there are not guided meditations. I find that those videos that I'm talking about, especially when I first started, made it so much easier to quiet my mind. Understand this. It is not, you cannot like stop your thoughts. But what you have to do is gently redirect your thoughts to a certain direction. And this is why, particularly for people just starting out, I recommend guided meditations. There are so many different meditation channels out there that have these, you know, things that you can avail yourself of. And different sounds work for different people. You know, some people like the ocean sound. Some people like the birds. You know, some people like whatever, you know, and it's just going to vary depending on your specific thing. And you can try different things. And if one thing doesn't work, don't give up. Try a different sound, okay? I mean, I'm not this person that does I like being out in nature, but when I'm meditating, the birds are like a distraction for me. Other people, it works great. It just depends on your specific, situation. We're all different, and that's okay. There's no wrong way. Just start. But the second thing that has come about in this cultivation of the relationship with my higher self is we have developed a very, very deep connection. And it has really reshaped my understanding of self-love. And I have found a love towards me from my higher self like I have never experienced in my life. And I have been loved very deeply, okay, in my life. Okay, I had a mother who passed away in 2013 who absolutely was the epitome of love, maternal, pure maternal love, okay? No, she wasn't perfect, but she absolutely loved me. Nobody's perfect, so don't look for that. But with that being said, the love that I feel from my higher self in recent months is absolutely indescribable. And a lot of you are probably going to say this sounds hokey, and I can understand that. It is something that, had I not personally experienced it, I probably wouldn't believe it if somebody were telling me. But it is like, and there may be people out there talking about this. I'm not saying they're not. I just haven't seen it. But what I can tell you is, in my opinion, the way that I discovered this was on my own, through divine guidance, through meditation, and it's like I came across this absolute nugget, this divine secret, and it just has been a game changer. And as I go along this path, I really do feel as though my understanding of self-love has taken on a whole new meaning, more so than it ever has. And I believe that this is absolutely essential to finding your life partner and viable romance, okay? I just really believe that. I think this is the self-love that we've been hearing about. It's just that I didn't understand it. And I'm not saying nobody's talking about it, but I had to find it firsthand by just walking this path. A lot of what I talk about on my channel, I learned just by, feeling around in the dark and, like this, and just finding things on my own. Many of you know I learned quite a bit from others, particularly Rich Lopp, who was, just an absolute divinely sent person on my path. I have no doubt about that. And there have been others, but a lot of what I have learned has just been feeling around in the dark and discovery. And the truths that I am coming upon are absolutely game changers and life-changing. And it has given me just this overflowing abundance inside that is just, I'm like holding back tears now trying to explain this the best that I can. It's just something that I have difficulty putting into words, how abundant I feel the love and my cup truly overflowing in a way I never have before. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. I really encourage you to consider either rededicating yourself to a meditation routine, ramping it up, or starting one. Just start somewhere, I meditate in the mornings. That's my meditation time, but many times throughout the day, particularly between readings, because I have to keep my energy at a certain level to be able to sit down and read cards. It's not just shuffling cards and throwing them out and telling you what they mean. No, it is the way that I read is very, very intuitive. And those who have watched me who really understand this, well, they know this and they often comment. And many times as I pull a spread, say I pull a 6-card spread or 9-card spread, the first card out, I'll get the whole story. And sure enough, the rest of the cards will just back it up. It's just amazing how that happens. And I have learned, if as soon as I get a download on that first card, I'll tell you. And sometimes I get downloads before I pull cards, and I've started trusting myself enough to be able to share those with you as they come. And I think that's highly important, because I think that it's like when you learn to act on that intuitive nudge, the divine guidance that comes, in my opinion, that strengthens the spiritual muscle, and it strengthens the relationship even more between me and my higher self, okay? Because there is now a trust between us that I know the voice of my intuition, higher self, and I trust it. So that trust is essential in getting you through your day. It really, really is. So with that being said, I hope this has helped. I would love to hear your feedback. If you have any ideas of things you would like for me to cover as a part of this series, please let me know. I have a list, but I will certainly add to it, or if I already have something on there, I can certainly tweak it to include your comments, your ideas. And if I don't know, then maybe it's an area that I can learn about and try to figure out what I can figure out about it. I'm always hoping to learn new things. The day we stop learning is the day we stop growing, and that's the day we start dying. So I hope this has helped. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish all of you so much healing, love, light, and abundance.